Hello friends, it's Sherry from Turquoise Dreaming, and I'm here to update you on the two journals we are working on together, where we're making journals with a digital kit. And so I've been just showing you my ideas and how I work with a digital kit. And welcome to my channel today. So I'm pretty excited about where these are going, and so like I've told you or said in the past videos, I'm doing two. So I'll just, they're pretty much the same. So I'll just show you where I'm at with one of these, so you can just get an idea of what I've done. So if you've watched the past, I think there's 4 videos, you know where we were at last time. So we had finished the cover, and so I have gone on and put some trims on and trying to finish the sewing before I sew in the pages or the signature. So I put on here, this is the first pocket. I put a little piece of ephemera. I have some ephemera in here, but I put a piece of like ephemera from the digital kit right here, and this is glued on because I've already had this sewed, so I couldn't do any more sewing on the pocket, or I would sew the pocket together. We don't want that. So I just glued on a piece here, and this is the piece that I had used pinking shears on the, around the edges, so it would look like a postage stamp. And then I glued it on just here and here, so it would be another little kind of like pocket or tuck spot. So I have one of the tags that I went ahead and put some ribbon on, and I have tucked that into the bigger pocket. And then I made it, this is all ephemera from the kit, which I had backed onto manila folder and distressed. And this one I put a ribbon on. So I'm putting that in this pocket. And, just like that, little tuck spot. Let's see, I think it goes over some more. Let me see. Yeah, it can go over to about right there. And then the back pocket, I went ahead and put an envelope in here. One of the envelopes from the kit, which was also distressed. I distressed this a lot so that it would look old. And then I put a piece of the cutoff from the stationery that I used here on inside of the book, the cover. I made that into a little like journaling spot or card. It's like a double card here, and I just used my corner rounder on, the edges here and the edges here, and that way you get that little kind of pretty design there in the middle. It's simple, but I think it's pretty like that, with that little cut in the middle like that. So here's the envelope that I tucked into the back pocket. And then I'll show you where I'm at with the pages in the sewing part, which I think I might be finished with. I have to kind of look and make sure, and if I do any more sewing, I'll let you know. But I sewed on this trim that I showed you, the black with the white polka dots. And I'll just kind of flip through and show you the sewing as I go through. This is, and what else I've done, and the other things I've done. So I put in a piece here. This is, I have quite a few videos ago where I made these little paper clips, and some of them were butterflies. So I took a piece of cutoff, or actually, I don't even think this was a cutoff. This was one of the smaller pages that I had, ready to use if I needed it, like this right here. I just have some of these extra pages that I had printed out in this size. And I cut one up to make a little small journaling spot like the one I just showed you in the envelope. This is a smaller one. It's coffee dyed. And then I just flip that over the top of the page like that. I just think that's a fun thing to add. Even though it's simple, I think it's cool. And then a little paper clip, one of my butterfly paper clips that I made. And I have just paper clipped it over here, as a little decoration. On this page, and then whoever gets this journal will have that little paper clip to use, and this little piece to either glue in or use as a journaling piece, or whatever they want to use it for, decoration, whatever. So here's another piece of the rickrack. This is the bigger rickrack that I sewed on this page, and then we'll keep flipping through. This is the fold out, blue lined fold out that we talked about, that I put in here. And I went through my playing cards and found this one. I thought it looked so pretty in here, It is old. I did not distress this. This is just how it was. So it's naturally distressed. And I just thought it looked really good with this, and pretty with this journal and the colors, the way it was distressed and the flowers, the blue flowers. And it looked really pretty on this page. So I zigzag stitched that on right there. And then this is a digital piece from the kit, and I told you previously that I put all the ephemera in the kit on. I backed it all, I think every single piece except for the envelopes, I backed with file folders. So they're all nice and sturdy with the file folder, on the back, which is cardstock basically. So you could use any cardstock. You don't have to use file folders, just whatever cardstock you would like to use that goes with your digital kit. But I zigzagged that on here, which I, did that for a future, as we go through, it will be a tuck spot here. So that's a tuck spot. And here is a tuck spot. It's a corner pocket or tuck spot. And I took another piece of, similar to this size, put it here, just straight stitch on the side and the bottom so that and I did sew some lace on it before I sewed it onto the page. And, I wanted to just put that little embellishment on there. And there you go, a little tuck spot there. And, I just wanted to do that to point out that you can embellish your digital pieces as much as you want. I just wanted a simple little piece of lace. It's been distressed, and I thought it looked pretty just like that as a tuck spot. So as we go through, I used a couple of the circles as tabs, sewed on here with a straight stitch, and that's just like a little tab. So I think that's really cool to do that. And here is another one of those pages like I just showed you, the extra little pages that I had printed out. And I was going to make an envelope out of this, so I set out starting to make an envelope. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I just left it open? And then whoever gets this journal you can glue down the sides if you want to actually make it into an envelope. But what I did was sew on the flap here. It's zigzag stitched. This can actually be used as a tuck spot if you wanted to use it as a tuck spot, the little flap. And then this folds out as, like I said, you can make it into an envelope by gluing down the sides, or you could even hand stitch, or maybe you could get that into a sewing machine when the journal's together. I'm not sure. But several things you can do with this, but I thought, wouldn't it be neat just to leave it open like this for the person that gets this journal to do whatever they want to do with it. So that's what I did with that piece. Just a fun little interactive piece there. And then you've seen the pages already, so I won't go over those right now. And I'm just looking for, embellishments and the sewing type things that I did so far. So here's a pocket. This was, a piece that I cut out with my circle punch. I cut out this little piece right here and then straight stitched it, sewed it around on the page as a pocket. So we've got a pocket, good size pocket right here. And then I think there's a couple more. Here's I used that, I guess it's seam binding right here to make a little ribbon ruffle on this page. And that's just straight stitched on there. I just straight stitched it right on the page. I didn't do it, ahead of time, sew it ahead of time and glue it on. It is sewn right on the page. And I just ruffled it up as I sewed along, And if anyone, I think, I think these things are kind of self-explanatory, but if anyone needed me to show them how to do anything, just leave me a note in the comments, and I'll be glad to come back and show you in more detail, how I did something. But, I kind of think they're self-explanatory. That's why I'm kind of doing it like this instead of actually doing the sewing on camera. But I'll be glad to come back and show you in more detail what I did. This is another piece of the round ephemera circle that I stitch on here. It's a little tab, which I think is so cute. And then let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, here's a fold up kind of pocket or flip up. And again, you can see it's a pocket. And this is actually a good size pocket here because it's a good size flip up. Even though this is a small journal, I put a large type of flip up here, and I use another piece of, this is a whole piece of the extra pages that I did. I just took it like this and folded it over, you know, and cut off this piece. And so I had my little flip up there and sewed it on with a straight stitch right here. And let me pick this up so you can make sure you can see. I'm kind of moving around here. But yes, yeah, stitched right here, and it, you know, flips up for writing. It's coffee dyed. And then you have your pocket like I showed already. So just a fun, you know, just some fun elements of sewing things in here. I think the rest of the sewing is just this ribbon here that I sewed on, and that's it. That's where I'm at right now. So my next step is to make sure that I'm done with the sewing. I could either go ahead and sew in the pages now, the signature, or I could work on the ephemera for the pockets. You know, it depends on what your preference is, but I might go ahead, if I'm sure I'm done with the sewing on the pages, go ahead and sew this in. That way, when you're working on the ephemera and stuffing your pockets, your ephemera is not going to fall out, you know what I mean? And there is a chance it could just fall out when you're, you know, moving things around a lot. But usually, I mean, I have done it both ways, so usually my ephemera does stay in there when I'm sewing too, so I think it's turning out well. Oh, there's one more thing. I did go ahead and put some of the, whatever that is, seam binding on the spine, which I think it looks really pretty. You can see, you know, the little black here looks really pretty with the whole look of the cover. And I just folded it over and glued it on, and then there'll be the stitching will come through here when I sew in the signature. And I was looking at it and I said, this cover just needs something. It needs something else. You know, I want it to be not just paper. I wanted to have something. So I took a piece of burlap, which I thought, I looked at several different things as what I wanted to put, as to what I wanted to put on the cover. And, you know, I wanted it to just go really good with the cover and look good and pretty, but go with the colors and everything. So I ended up with this piece of burlap. It's just a little strip here of burlap. And then I put this little card on here. I print these out myself, which you can do on, you know, I printed this on file folder. And I've talked about this before, but in case you haven't seen that video, I just cut my file folder down to 8.5 by 11, you know, like paper size. I do in my word processing program, I just do a whole page of whatever word I want, you know, and I have them saved on my computer so that whenever I need more words, I can just print out a page on the file folder that I've cut down to fit through my printer and print out a page, and then I go and cut them all out. I cut them out, and then I round this one I rounded the corners on all four corners. So, and then it's distressed. So long, that's a long explanation of this, but you know what I mean. I just wanted to tell you, in case you hadn't seen the previous video, I just print out my words, whatever word I want. And so we've got a little, you know, a little title here, kind of almost like a nameplate on our front cover, and I think it just added so much to it. Here's the other one. They're both the same. But I just love that little addition. It just really, I think, makes the whole cover look, you know, official. It's an official cover now because it has a title to it. And the word is journal. So I think that's, I love it. So here's the back, just in case I didn't really show you the back with the, you know, the spine. I think it just adds a lot. Just that little black strip. Doesn't need to be anything big. I didn't want to cover up my butterfly. So, you know, and I love how the stitching looks too. So we're coming along nicely. And next, you know, I won't need to show you after I sew in the pages. I think there's so many demonstrations out there of how to sew in pages. You probably don't need me to show you that. And I've actually done it on camera too with my glue books. But I will go ahead and sew in the pages, and then, you know, I guess the next one will be a flip through of the finalized journal, unless I do some more sewing, and I can show you that in the next one too. So the next video should be the finalized journal flip through with the ephemera in here, and the pages sewn in, and then I'll point out any more sewing on page. If I do any more sewing on the pages, point that out. Oh, there's one thing I want to show you, and maybe I can ask you for ideas. I picked up these little blue, because they're blue, they can go with this journal. They're little new looking. I could possibly coffee dye these, or even put some alcohol ink. I have some alcohol ink that's brown to make them look kind of vintagey, but they're so pretty. You've probably seen these at the Dollar Tree. They're 3 for $1 in a package, and I wanted to maybe see if I could use these in the journal. And of course, I didn't want to use it on the cover. I just didn't think it went right, with the cover. And I can use it in here somewhere as an embellishment. But like you can see, it's just, this is, vintage looking, I would say. And this is brand new looking. So maybe I'll experiment with this and try to make it look old with my alcohol ink. I've done that on metal before. So you can make metal look old with alcohol ink. And then it would also, I'd also put it on the edge here of the wings. But I just thought these were so pretty. I wanted to see if I could use them in some way in these journals. So I'm going to be experimenting with that. And I'll get back to you. If I don't use it, I'll even tell you, I decided not to use these. But I think that would be cool. I thought about making it into a paper clip. But to make it into a paper clip, it does have this little knot kind of where the fabric is gathered together. And I can't cut that off because I'm afraid that the material would just all, or fabric here would just all come off. So if I made it into a paper clip would have to be down here, and then so when you clipped it on, the wings would be sticking up, which is fine. Here's what it would look like with the wings sticking up. That's fine. It's really not an issue. And if someone didn't like it, they could, of course, it would be a paper clip, so they could take it off and use it somewhere else, or even on a pocket. I guess it could be paper clipped onto a pocket. Let me see how that looks. If you paper clip on a pocket, then it would be like this. It would add a little bulk to the journal because of that knot here. But that would be a possibility now that I'm thinking about it. So then if it was a paper clip, it could be moved around in the journal or used somewhere else. So I might make a paper clip or experiment with making it into an embellishment. So I'll let you know what I decide and what I end up with. But what I was going to say, if you have any ideas of if you've ever used these type of things, I've seen these, been looking at these in Dollar Tree for a while, and I hadn't bought any, but I always look at them thinking, oh, they're so pretty, I would like to do something with those. So finally broke down and bought a pack, and so I will go ahead and experiment them because I don't like to buy things and not use them. So I will figure out something to do with these. So I thank you for watching. If you're watching my series, I hope you're working along with me, or maybe if you don't have time now, you'll come back and do it later. But these are so much fun, and you can make a digital kit like as you can see that we've been doing into anything you want. Add in, you don't have to use just the digital kit. You can add in all of your whatever you want to add in from your stash. So, and just make it your own style. So it doesn't have to be vintage even. You can just make it your own style, whatever your style is. So I hope you're having fun with it, and have a great day and happy crafting. See you next time.